I want to wish all of you a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you for this informational webinar for Rotman School of Management's upcoming online program, Business Analytics, Data-Driven Decision Making. We are so thrilled that you are all here with us today. My name is Mark Linehan, and I am logging in just north of Boston, Massachusetts in the Northeastern United States. So on the call today, we are so thrilled to have our amazing rockstar faculty on the call with us today. I am so thrilled that Professor Avi Goldfarb is on with us today. Professor Goldfarb is the Rotman Chair in Artificial Intelligence and Healthcare, Professor of Marketing, Chief Data Scientist at the Creative Destruction Lab, Senior Editor, Marketing Science, and Research Associate at the National Bureau of Economic Research. Professor Goldfarb, good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's great to be here. I'm looking forward to talking to everybody about the course.
And we are excited to hear all about it. And like I said before, my name is Mark Linehan. I'm just facilitating today's webinar, and I am also thrilled to be here on with all of you today. So with that, our agenda for the rest of this session to go through, we're going to be going through this amazing program. Professor Goldfarb is going to give you background about the program, who's it for, why we built it, and then he's going to take us through the curriculum, go module by module, tell you all about what you're going to be learning during this process. I'm going to go over a little bit about your learning experience and how you can register for this program. And so with that, I'm going to turn things over to Professor Goldfarb. On top of all those titles that I just listed for Professor Goldfarb, you should know that Professor Goldfarb's research focuses on the opportunities and challenges of the digital economy. He is a co-author of the Globe and Mail bestselling book, Prediction Machines, The Simple Economics of Artificial Intelligence. Professor Goldfarb has also published more than 70 academic articles in a variety of outlets that cover topics including marketing, statistics, law, computing, economics, and all this work, all this incredible academic work that Professor Goldfarb has done has been discussed in White House reports, congressional testimony, European Commission documents, The Economist, the Globe and Mail. Professor Goldfarb holds multiple degrees from both Northwestern University and Queen's University, and we are so thrilled to have him here with us today. So Professor Goldfarb, take it away, sir.
Okay, thanks, Mark. That's quite an introduction. I appreciate it. So this course is about how managers can use data. So the goal of this course is, by the end of it, you'll be able to make better decisions, right? Who doesn't want to make better decisions in their business lives, in their daily lives, et cetera? That's what this course is about. It's the recognition that data, information, can help you make better decisions. And it provides a toolkit for allowing you to leverage that data in order to improve your careers and and what your organizations achieve. The roots of this course go back a long way, which is that way back in the late 90s, I was a grad student, and there was this new technology called the internet, and it seemed really exciting and interesting. And I decided to try to get my head around it. What was unusual about the internet is there was this stream of data coming in. Every time anybody did anything online, we could keep track of each click, each thing that happened. And so that led me to invest in trying to understand what I guess we now call big data. And back then, it just seemed like a massive stream of information. So then that was my research focus for the next decade or so. And then we realized that our MBA students needed that toolkit as well. And so we started to build a set of courses around data literacy and data-driven decision-making in the MBA program at Rotman. So those courses kept building in terms of understanding how do you use data to make better decisions, at which point there was another advance coming out of University of Toronto that we now think about as artificial intelligence. So our computer science department at University of Toronto was the center of a lot of the advances that lead to the current hype and excitement around AI. And we in the business school had a front row seat in what was happening just 2 blocks down the road. So that led, in turn, to a book, Prediction Machines, The Simple Economics of Artificial Intelligence, that 2 of my Rotman colleagues and I put together. And that book has then had a big impact on lots of organizations globally and on what we teach. And so this course is going to be a combination of those insights that we had from before. And, how do we get our students to be data literate? Combined with these newer ideas around what's the role of data and data literacy in taking advantage of these opportunities in AI. So what does that mean? That means this course is designed for anybody who wants to engage with data teams, to interpret reports, to build reports, and to have meaningful conversations, to have useful conversations with analysts to integrate the data into the decision-making, your personal decision-making, your managerial decision-making, and your overall corporate culture. So what are you going to learn specifically? The goal is to improve data literacy, right? You need to be able to communicate well with the people who do the coding, who run the analysis, in order to understand how to use and interpret different analytics tools. Broadly speaking, 3 categories: descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. Okay. So the goal is for management to be able to communicate with analysts. If you're on the analyst side, there's also a role for you in this course, which is you're going to learn how to understand what management uses analytics for. Because the essence of the course is to keep turning back to this idea that data in and of itself isn't useful. If somebody says, we're going to do the data in order to provide insight, you should be a little scared and you should be wary. Insight in and of itself isn't useful. It needs to be to support a decision. Insight into what is the core question. In the process, I'll be giving you guidance on various data analytics tools, dashboard, machine learning, prediction models, and regression analysis. There is a broad focus on taking a scientific approach, recognizing that the most important decisions to your business should carefully consider cause and effect and use the tools of science, hypothesis testing, hypothesis formulation, and using that to experiment and design good decision processes. So they use the tools of science in management. And finally, we'll talk about broader and deeper understanding of the data-driven organization, thinking about privacy and thinking about organizational culture. Now we're going to dig into it module by module. The course consists of 6 modules. The first module gives you data basics. It describes the different types of data analysis, which are descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. It explains when those different analyses are appropriate and what the challenges might be in getting started with data. It also describes some statistical concepts. What's a variable? How does it work? How do we think about how many observations we need, how big the sample size might need to be, and worries about bias in the data you see relative to the decision you're trying to make. All of this is going to keep coming back to this core theme that data is for decision-making and data comes from decision-making. So the data you see is a consequence of the decisions of people who end up in your data. And in order to understand the data, you need to understand the people behind the data and the decisions they might make. Module 2 takes those ideas and builds a tool. Module 2 is about dashboarding. It's about understanding how applications, data analytics, dashboards, in the context of dashboards. So we're going to talk about conditional averages, distributions, and a whole bunch of other statistical concepts. Apply them to what matters to your organization. So the key goal here is to identify what we call key performance indicators. What are key performance indicators? These are the things that you need to keep track of in order to succeed in your business. They're the most important things that you need in order to make decisions and manage the next week, the next month, and the next year. And so in talking about dashboarding, we're going to spend a fair bit of time thinking about what kind of data do you need? What are the key performance indicators to allow you to make those better decisions? So that's description, using data for description to understand what's going on in order to react, dig deeper, and decide better. Module 3 is about prediction. Module 3 starts with the recognition that the current excitement in AI, the reason we're talking about AI today, and we really weren't talking about it that much 15, 20 years ago, has very little to do with artificial general intelligence, the robots that you see in movies. Instead, it's because a very particular technology called machine learning has gotten much, much better. And so what's machine learning? It's computational statistics. That's why it's in a data literacy course. And so what we're going to dig into is how to think about computational statistics as better, faster, cheaper prediction. So we can interpret AI as predictions gotten cheaper. And then we're going to map out the consequences in terms of your day-to-day work. What does that mean for your job? And the strategic implications at the level of the organization. These ideas build on our best-selling book, Prediction Machines, that was bestseller in Canada and around the world, translated into about 15 languages. In module 4, we're going to talk about regression. Okay, so regression is the workhorse tool in statistics. It's used for prediction, it's used for prescription, it's used everywhere. And if you're working with analysts or you're running the analysis yourself, you need to understand at an intuitive level what this tool can do for you. And so module 4 is going to be the most technical of the modules, still not requiring deep math or coding skills or anything like that, because the focus is on the intuition of how regression can help you and help your organization. So module 5 is scientific thinking in business. Because module 5 says sometimes predicting is enough, but sometimes we actually need to understand cause and effect in order to know what to do. And so what we're going to focus on is taking the data you have coming in, thinking through the decision-making process of your customers or suppliers or employees that generated that data, and then determining what you should do next. So thinking through the benefits of A/B testing and experimental design, thinking through what you do in the absence of experiments. And all of this will be very much focused on real-world examples of how a scientific approach to business led to much better results. In module 6, we're going to talk about organizational culture. You're going to widen your view of data literacy. Think through how do you move from an organization that rewards sometimes gut feel to an organization that rewards culture, that rewards evidence and learning, that rewards people who use data well. In that process, we're going to talk a fair bit about privacy and privacy concerns. I'm going to summarize my testimony to the U.S. Senate Committee of the Judiciary on online privacy and competition, all in the service of understanding where the opportunities lie and what the challenges, what steps you need to take in order to take your organization to the next level. That's a summary of the curriculum, the program. To do the coding side of things. What a management course in data literacy will teach you is what belongs in the dashboard. And then how do you interpret that data that shows up in the dashboard? And so we're going to spend a lot of time thinking about which are the right key performance indicators to include in the dashboard and how. So again, this is not, you're not going to be learning how to code. So you're not going to learn Power BI. If you have those skills, that's great. And we'll set you up so that you can learn them if needed. But the course's focus is not on teaching you any particular statistical toolkit, any particular coding toolkit like Power BI or Tableau or whatever else it might be, Mustafa. So what you're going to do is you're going to construct the prediction models. You're going to learn, how to focus on what you want to predict in the organization and how to use that prediction. You're going to analyze the use of regressions. So you're going to spend some time working with examples of regressions and trying to interpret them and try to build your own regression strategy. So things like, how many wins is Manchester United, or I guess there's a lot of Canadians here. So we can think about it as how many wins are the Leafs going to have next year? Or, or maybe the Habs, or I guess, for those of you from elsewhere in the country, the Senators or the Canucks and Oilers, etc. Okay, we can do it hockey. It's done soccer, but we can do it hockey if you want. Okay. And then we're going to do some prescriptive analysis and work through some cases of cause and effect and how that plays out. I see, Mohammed, you like the Manchester United one, so we'll stick with that. Okay. Oh, I didn't even mention the Flames. I'm sorry. Okay. Where were we? Okay. I didn't mention Winnipeg either, I guess, or Quebec City if you go back far enough. Syed, I'm a category sales analyst and use Nielsen Retail PRS to analyze data. So Syed, that's a great background. Welcome. And what you're going to learn in this course is how to take that in order to make better organization decisions. So it's about this recognizing the challenges in data, thinking through the decision-making strategy that you should use in order to take that data to the next level. Okay. I think that's back to you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much for taking us through those modules. Thank you so much for telling us about this program. I want to tell you a little bit more about the different learning methods, because this is not just, an old-fashioned online program from 10 years ago where you just get a whole bunch of videos thrown at you and that's all there is to it. We have a variety of learning methods, so no matter what your learning style is, you are going to feel challenged and supported during this program. So you are going to be, you're going to learn in a variety of different ways, including try it activities, hands-on applications to what you are learning at the time. You're also going to be having peer discussion groups moderated by our learning facilitators. So you will not just be learning directly from our professor, but we'll have these learning facilitators that function kind of like the way that teaching assistants or TAs do in the traditional academic world. And they're going to be moderating these discussions to help you all learn from each other. But you're also going to be learning alongside people from a variety of different industries with a variety of different years of work experience. So you're going to be learning alongside people who do the same thing you do on a different continent or are right down the street from you and work in a completely different industry. And we're going to take all that knowledge, we're going to take all that experience that you all bring to this program, and we are going to actually have you all enrich each other through these peer discussion groups. There will also be quizzes and knowledge checks so that you can feel assured that you are retaining and processing everything that you're learning in this program. Like I mentioned, real world application exercises. There's going to be open Q&A. There's going to be a live webinar with our faculty, and also a capstone project that you can take with you to your business, to your current employment, any future employment, so that you can apply what you've learned immediately. So a variety of different learning methods, a really dynamic and engaging program. That is what we are proud of with this program. And upon successful completion of the program, you will earn a verified digital certificate of completion from the Rotman School of Management at the University of Toronto. And this program counts towards a Rotman Excellence in Executive Leadership Certificate. You can email us if you want to know more information about that. We'll be sending you an email address in the chat box in just a moment. But as you can see, this is something that you can put on your LinkedIn, on your resume, on your CV, anything that you can send out to current and future employers so that they know that not only do you have this knowledge, that you have this information that you can apply right away, but it's from Rotman School of Management at University of Toronto. And also having this on your LinkedIn will also enable you to network with all the other thousands of students who have taken executive programs through Rotman School of Management at the University of Toronto over the past several years. So with that, program support is going to be popping up a link in the chat box right now that you can click on to register for this program. As you can see on the screen, it is right around the corner. This program is beginning very soon, so please do not wait to register for this program. I don't want you to miss it because you thought to yourself, that's plenty of time. It's COVID. Time has no meaning. 2 weeks is like 2 years. No, don't do that. Please just click on the link. Make sure you register right away. If you can't register now, then just click on the link and open it in your browser. If you're anything like me, your browser already has 50 tabs open. So click on that link, make this the 51st tab open in your browser. Register as soon as possible for this program. If you have any additional questions, such as that Rotman Excellence Certificate that I just mentioned a second ago, please send any additional questions. For instance, if anything about tuition, logistics, anything like that, send those questions to rotman@emeritus.org. Again, that's Rotman at emeritus.org. So again, you can see some statistics there. This is a 6-week online program. We anticipate our students usually spend about 4 to 6 hours per week on their learning in this program. And you can see by the program fee, it is a fantastic value. So please go ahead, click on the link that's in the chat box. Click on that link, register right away so that you can join our next cohort for business analytics, data-driven decision making. And let's quickly go through some of these questions. Professor Goldfarb, of course, as always, feel free to jump in if that's what you want to do. So one of the Sujith has a great question because you mentioned earlier, Professor, about you said we don't need any hard math, but all of us have different levels of fear when it comes to the word math. We all have very different comfort levels. So one person's easy math is another person's traumatic school memory. Yeah. So how much knowledge of statistics is required as a prerequisite for this course? What kind of math do we need to be comfortable in to excel and succeed in this program?
None. So there is no statistical background required. It is a data literacy course, and it really does emphasize the literacy side of things. So if you have absolutely no background in statistics, you don't even remember how to calculate an average, that's fine. We'll get you there. And of course, if you do have that background in statistics, then that's fine too, because the course isn't designed to focus on the math. The course is designed to focus on the intuition and how it can help you make better decisions. So this course is very much designed to be agnostic to your mathematical background. If you have absolutely no stats and you haven't thought about math since the 9th grade, then as we go through things, you might be a little bit slower on some of the videos, but that's what courses, that's what course school's for. And so I wouldn't worry about having lots or very little math or stats background.
Thank you so much, Professor. About how many hours of classes per week, or is it all based on video that we will have access to anytime? So I think I might have already answered that. So we're looking at about 4 to 6 hours per week. But again, it's not all video. There are different materials and there are many different learning methods through this program. I believe it is released every single week. And then you go through it every single week. Professor, do you have anything you want to add about that? Or
no, it's almost all asynchronous, so you can watch when you want. I'll be joining for a live session. So that one, if you want to ask me a question in real time, then you have to show up for that hour. But otherwise, you can watch that video too if you want. The course is designed to be flexible.
Yeah, the other thing I want to emphasize, Mohammed, is when the professor refers to flexibility, is we do something that's called bite-sized learning. So the videos aren't like a 2-hour-long video and you have to set aside 2 hours. Like when we say 4 to 6 hours per week, it's not like a traditional college environment where 4 to 6 hours a week means 2 hours 3 times a week. So it's broken down so that if you can really only find 10 or 15 minutes here and there, we've made it as flexible as possible so that it is possible if you only have 10 to 15 minutes at a time. However you break up that 4 to 6 hours over the course of a week, we've broken up the materials so that no matter what your schedule is, no matter what your work schedule is, your home schedule is, you'll be able to find the 4 to 6 hours you need for your learning. All right. Mosin, business analysts are doing the similar sort of working. I don't quite understand what exactly you mean, Mosin. If you could rephrase that. I don't know if you want us to compare of what business analysts are doing, but just let me know in the Q&A exactly what it is you mean there. America, do I have access to the material after the program is wrapped up? I believe you do. I believe that is true. I don't know the exact length of time. I would email Rotman at emeritus.org to double check on that because I don't want to give you the wrong number. Usually it's anywhere between 6 and 12 months, but don't quote me on that. So America, if you could email Rotman at emeritus.org, that would be perfect. And can we get more information? Salim is wondering, can we get more information on the full leadership certification program? Does it provide similar skills of viewing business as an MBA? So Salim, that is a great question to email Rot if you have it, because that's like a more specific Rotman above my pay grade question. So Salim, please email Rotman at emeritus.org for more information on the full leadership certification program, of which this program counts towards. So please email Rotman at emeritus.org for more information on that. And I know our program support is also working on that. So, Professor, while our friends on the line today are coming up with more questions for you, can you tell us a little bit more about, we mentioned that capstone project, the organizational models that our students can take with us. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and perhaps even some, do you have any specific examples, obviously not invading anyone's proprietary privacy or anything like that, but do you have any specific examples of capstone projects that have been like really interesting to you?
So the capstone project process was, it's very much designed to help you, so that as a student in the class, the day the class ends, you know what to do next. And so it's quite flexible. So we've had students take it, work in the medical field and think about how they might be able to better leverage the data in electronic medical records in order to say, better organize a hospital. We've had students who've used that same kind of project, marketing context, to figure out how to better allocate their advertising budget over the next little while. We've had students come in from financial services and understand how to use data to better identify who might be a good candidate for a new credit card or a retirement savings plan or something like that. So those capstone projects have been amazing because they, like from my point of view as a professor, because they allow you to take what you've learned in the class and make it immediately useful to whatever you're doing at work. And some people, on that note, who are in the process of thinking of switching jobs or switching roles, have used that capstone project to try to imagine, hey, if they were in their dream job, the role that they're looking for, how could they use data in order to help? And my understanding is that they've used that as part of an application process for saying, here's how, I think I could help you as a company going forward. So there's been all sorts of interesting projects in the capstone. It's been fascinating to watch.
Thank you so much, Professor. So Mosin's question, I actually think you've touched on it in a couple different places, but I just want to make sure I'm getting this question right. For job descriptions for business analysts that can be attained through this course. So this course, like when it comes to you talked at the beginning of before you were talking about the modules, and you just hinted on it as well. But when we say business analytics and we talk about using data to drive your decision making, so this course is specifically built like for managers. So can you just quickly go through some of like the titles, like the very specific titles that people have when they take this course, like senior VPs or middle management or whoever it is?
Right. Oh, it's a pretty wide range. So there's a lot of the people in the course, maybe the prototypical person in the course is somebody who is in a management role, whether it's VP or director or project manager or product manager, who wants to know how to use data as part of their day-to-day workflow. Okay. Now, there have been a number of people in more business analyst roles or data analyst roles. What they get out of the course is something a little bit different. What they get is the ability to communicate with the management side, with the business side of their organizations. And so to get your expectations on what the course will achieve, right? If you look at a job description for a business analyst role, there's two parts to it. There's the part understanding the industry and understanding and experience with how data can help, move an organization forward. That's what this course is about. And there is know how to code in Python, know how to build dashboards directly using Power BI or whatever else. That is not what this course is for. Those are certifications that you can get for in many ways much more easily, at least in terms of price, through effectively just watching YouTube, right? So this is not about the Power BI skills and the coding skills and Python. That's part of the business analyst job descriptions that you can get elsewhere. This is I know how to use data in order to make a business go forward. And that part of it is in the course.
Thank you, Professor. So friends, yay, we have a question that just popped in. How accurate are the predictions when it comes to decision making, also for career growth? If I became a data analyst, what can I work on next to keep myself relevant in the job market? Okay, so these are a couple questions concerning the future. So how good, I guess that's a question about predictive analytics. How good is predictive analytics? Where are we when it comes to making predictions, when it comes to decision making? And if any members of our cohort, if they became a data analyst, what might be the next steps in their education to keep themselves relevant? Like for you, who's been so experienced in this and you're so eminently qualified to be able to answer this question, like, so where are we going with this? What does the future look like?
It's an excellent question. The question about accuracy is accuracy matters. The degree of accuracy matters depending on the type of decision. So if in online advertising, for example, your prediction makes those ads 1%, 1 percentage point more effective, that's huge. Why? Because seeing one banner ad once has very little impact on your actual purchases. So the predictive power of a typical ad model is going to be 1 out of 1,000. And if you can improve it by 1%, then you've made a huge impact on the effect of your ads. You've made it 10 times more effective. And so 11 to be precise. So, how accurate the predictions are when it comes to decision making, in some cases, an AI that on the surface might not seem very accurate, it's right 1% of the time, is what underlies the massive advances that we've seen in advertising and advertising effectiveness over the past 2 decades. There's a reason why the ad tech industry is thriving. And the reason is because these statistical prediction tools have become, make advertising much more effective than it otherwise would have been, even though in terms of, what we statisticians call R squared, or, the overall accuracy might seem low. In other contexts, the predictions can be 99.99% accurate and they're not good enough. Okay. So take a self-driving car. Are you going to get in a car that is 99.99% accurate? Well, that means one of every 10,000 times, one in every 10,000 decisions is going to be wrong and it's going to get into a car accident. No way. You're not getting into that car. And so accuracy depends on decision context. And actually one of the core themes of the course that's going to come out over and over and over again, which is right. When we're thinking about analysis, when we're thinking about data, the core is to just recognize it in the context of a particular decision. So as for career growth, you become a data analyst. What do you need to work on next? So there are these 2 paths, and you need to understand them both deeply. Path number 1 is predictive analysis, which is related to these advances in machine learning and artificial intelligence. And you need to keep track of how those advances proceed and know what machine learning tools are part of the standard, statistician toolkit. And that will change a little bit over time. But if you know R and Python, you'll be able to, to keep those pieces, to keep track as they advance. And if you're on the analyst side, if you're on the business side, again, you just need to know how those capabilities change over time. And, reading prediction machines and taking this course will be a great step toward that on the predictive side. And, I have another book coming out in the fall, and, selfishly, I'd say that would be the next thing to do after this course in prediction machines. The other side of it is this prescriptive analysis. And that's taking a scientific approach to business. That we have a pretty deep understanding already of what that toolkit looks like. It's made major advances in the past 15 years, but in the last 5 years, it's leveled off. So at the end of this course, on the prescriptive side, you'll largely know what you need to know. You'll know the value of A/B testing. You'll know the value of analytics. There's some incremental things that happen every year that push the cutting edge, but broadly, you'll know what on prescriptive, you'll know what you need to know in terms of where those opportunities lie. So happy to talk more. And if you're curious, follow me, get connected on LinkedIn, follow me on Twitter. And I tend to communicate those advances month by month and year by year as I see them in the business world and literature.
Thank you, Professor. So what's your handle on Twitter if our future students want to follow you? Is it just at Avi Goldfarb?
At Avi C. Goldfarb. I have my middle initial in there because someone got Avi Goldfarb first.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for that, Professor. And thank you for that detailed question. That was amazing. And so far, I don't see any additional questions in here, but that last question was just such an amazing answer and such an amazing conversation. I really appreciate it. Do you have any final thoughts or anything that you want to add? Anything that you want to add on to this, Professor?
No, I continue to be very excited about this course. It's what, in our MBA program, what our students are most excited about. And in our executive and online programs, what we've consistently seen real change in how students see the world and how their careers progress because of from what they learn in the course. And so I'm excited to see what you guys do through the course and especially beyond. So please do get in touch, connect with me so that I can keep track of the career of my students. Thank you.
Please send your questions to Rotman at Emeritus.org. I want to thank Professor Avi Goldfarb so much for his time and his expertise. Professor, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Again, please send any additional questions to Rotman at Emeritus.org. Click on that link, keep it open in your browser, and register for this program. Again, it's starting up right around the corner. So please don't miss the opportunity to join this amazing cohort with our incredible faculty, Professor Avi Goldfarb, learning business analytics, data-driven decision-making so that you can decipher the data to make better business decisions. Thank you all so much, everybody. We look forward to having you in the classroom, and have a beautiful day, everybody.